Some breaking news to bring you now. In the past few minutes, it's been announced that the veteran actor Bernard Cribbins has died at the age of 93. Bernard Cribbins, who narrated The Wombles and starred in the film adaptation of The Railway Children, was one of the most versatile and popular entertainers of his generation. He managed to be a favourite on children's TV while also starring in the bawdy Carry On films. David Silito looks back on his life.
Me, sir, I'm Perks!
Good wives and private soldiers should be ignorant. And I'll keep her from your instruction, I warrant you.
But if she be...
From classical theatre
Morning, Tobermory. You look hot.
to the Wombles, Bernard Cribbins seemed to pop up everywhere.
Yeah, what about a nice drop of brandy in your tea?
That's a very sound idea, Lemmy.
When he appeared with Peter Sellers in Two-Way Stretch in 1960, he'd already been acting for 16 years. He'd started doing bit parts at Oldham Rep, aged 14. It was more fun than following his mum into the local mill.
I'm the new midshipman. Poop Decker's my name. Albert Poop Decker.
Blessed with a face for comedy, he landed some notable film roles.
One I must have, and no offence I know on a day like this. I'm taking too great a liberty, have I, on a day like this, you know?
Perks in The Railway Children was perhaps his best known.
Dear Mr. Perks, we love you quite as much as if you're an uncle of our own.
Hey!
There I was, digging his hole, all in the ground.
He also had two hit songs.
Wasn't there, was I?
Oh, what a beautiful one. Lovely smell.
Oh, dear. We'll never manage by ourselves, having... Oh,
But in many of his most famous roles, he was just a voice.
I never realised before what hard work cooking is.
Whether it was the Wombles,
Is this the Jiffy plumbing service?
Busby,
Wondering if you had a man free.
Mrs. Fluffytail is walking along the road with Tufty and Bobby Brown.
or Tufty.
So they all got safely to the shore. Some swimming, some flying, and those that climbed along the rope brought the doctor's trunk and handbag with them.
He was also the record holder for the greatest number of Jackanories. Indeed, he was a mainstay of children's television over many years.
Oh, Doctor. What about you now? Who've you got?
When he appeared with Doctor Who with David Tennant, it was his second Doctor. The first had been Peter Cushing 40 years before.
Still, that's fine.
He had played every type of role.
Right on time!
Funny, friendly, and down to earth for millions. He was a part of growing up.
The veteran actor Bernard Cribbins, who's died at the age of 93.
Stop, you green swine! Look, you get back inside, Sylvia. They always want the women. I thought it'd be cleaner.
Cleaner? I can take this back up right now.
Well, it means that a lot of people have got very long memories and gone back over the years.
Hello, I'm Hornby-sides again. Morning. Now I can show you some more exciting things. How about this mail coach for starters? It's just like the real thing.
And what about those locos and the turntable? Hello? Bit of trouble then?
Just hang on to that, will you, sunshine? Right, don't move. Don't move a muscle. Yeah!
Hornby, use your imagination.
Well done, lads. Oh!
What is a dad? A dad is someone you can depend on to build a better future for his family, to keep his head in a tight corner, to remember that his family prefer Terry's Moonlight chocolates because Moonlight's half milk, half plain assortment makes the whole family happy. And so, at the end of the day, he too can feel happy to think that he has given his all. Terry's Moonlight, half milk, half plain, twice the pleasure.
Have you got a little...
Hello, love. See, you and Dave got married then? Got just what you need for supper. Tender beef simmered in its own gravy with a tasty pie crust.
Oh, but I've never made a pie.
No, and you never have to. Fray Bentos steak and kidney pie just like his mother's. She buys them here too.
Right, said Fred, both of us together, one each end and steady as we go. Tried to shift it, couldn't even lift it, we was getting nowhere, and so we had a cup of tea, and right, said Fred, give a shout for Charlie, up comes Charlie from the floor below. After straining, even and complaining, we was getting nowhere, and so we had a cup of tea, and Charlie had a think, and he thought we ought to take off all the handles and the things what held the candles, but it did no good. Well, I never thought it would. All right, said Fred, have to take the feet off to get them feet off, wouldn't take a mo. Took its feet off, even took the seat off, should have got us somewhere, but no. So Fred said, let's have another cup of tea, and we said, righto. All right, said Fred, have to take the door off, need more space to shift the so-and-so. Had bad twinges, taking off the hinges, and it got us nowhere, and so we had a cup of tea, and right, said Fred, have to take the wall down, that there wall is gonna have to go. Took the wall down, even with it all down, we was getting nowhere, and so we had a cup of tea, and Charlie had a think, and he said, look Fred, I got a sort of feeling, if we remove the ceiling with a rope or two, we could drop the bladder through. All right, said Fred, climbing up a ladder with his crowbar, gave a mighty blow. Was he in trouble? Half a ton of rubble landed on the top of his dome. So Charlie and me had another cup of tea, and then we went home. I said to Charlie, we'll just have to leave it standing on the landing, that's all. You see, the trouble with Fred is he's too hasty. Now, you never get nowhere if you're too hasty.